I grew up in San Francisco, arguably the definitive gay mecca of the world, but my coming out experience was a struggle. I discovered that I was gay when I fell in love with a classmate during my junior year in high school. The feelings I had for him consumed me, not only because they were powerful, but also because with those feelings came the fear that everyone would think of me as a bad person. I fought these feelings as hard as I could, praying on a daily basis that they would go away. But as each day passed, the fight grew more futile. I became depressed and started withdrawing from my friends, and eventually, people started asking me if everything was all right, as I was no longer the person they once knew. A few months into my senior year, I cried out for help by writing a short story. I submitted it to the school paper anonymously, slipping it under the door of the school paper's office at 6:30 a.m. when no one was around. The story was called Mutant Energy. With a half-dead, emotionless appearance, the tattered individual rested on his chair, solemnly opened his book, flipped to the first blank page, and commenced to transfer his thoughts from abstract to concrete. Dear Diary, you're the only person I can talk to, because talking to anybody else would make my problems inflated beyond the universe. No one knows the brutality I have to live with every day, and each day that I keep the secret inside, the worse it gets. I wish that I could tell someone, just so that I could relieve myself of this burden, but that is impossible. I wish I could be a kid again and live a carefree and normal life. I could always talk to people easily as a child. I could act and react with guileless strength, careless about shame. I could make friends and talk freely about myself. I had no problems that seriously altered the path of my life. Now, as an adolescent, my life has flipped over from ease to pain. I first started feeling this mutant energy a year ago. At first, I thought that this was a normal feeling, as if I was passing through a stage. Only I started realizing that I was staying in this stage, and that I wasn't going anywhere. If it wasn't for one person, Jason Thompson, I might be able to breathe some life into my own bruised soul. Ever since I became interested in him, I have unwillingly walked through the door to hell. I would spend weekends in stomach pains, lonely as an isolated flower, with no direction or purpose. Every time I saw him in the hallway, I experienced an emotional heart attack. I would talk to him as normally as to the rest of my friends, but when I did, my problems augmented. I tried to correct myself by meeting a cheerful and nice person, Kelly Mason. I even went out with her to a few movies, and truthfully, I had a good time, but the real purpose never materialized. I could tell that she had a passion for me, and I wanted to develop one for her, but the more I tried, the more I failed. I am still friends with her, but after realizing my corroded destiny, I have decided that I will not pursue a relationship with her anymore. They say senior year is the best year of many people's lives. In my condition, I call it a malady. On an average day, I experience a wide influx of emotions that leave me devastated by dismissal. First, I feel depressed in the mornings when I sit around in the halls. Thus, I decided to come to school later. As soon as classes start, I feel normal and relaxed because I know that I can function normally as long as I am in class. However, there is always one period every day when he is in my class. My heart races abnormally and my stomach pains return. During that class, they subside, but in the remaining classes, they are replaced by false rejection and loneliness that I always tried to avoid, but that I have to endure. While at home, I think about the harsh reality that I will have to go through this process every day while I am at Madison High. Obviously, the classmates that know me well know that I hate school, and this is the reason why. The funny thing is that no one knows about my circumstances. Not Kelly, not even Jason. I see this energy in everyone. Only in everyone else, this energy isn't mutant but healthy. They talk freely about their desires, passions, and fantasies, and they can relate to each other. They develop relationships that can overfill their happiness and pleasure levels, and society accepts it. I wish it would accept everyone. I did try to communicate my problem once. However, when I hinted it to my father, he called me a sick, deranged alien who doesn't deserve to live in his household. Of course, I said that I was only speaking hypothetically, but because of him, I've come to believe that if I ever tell anybody that I possess this mutant energy, I will look sour in their eyes. Many people say that when dealing with death, one goes through denial, anger, bargaining, and finally acceptance. I've been in denial for such a long time. I have felt an enormous amount of anger. I know that bargaining is useless, for one cannot control such powerful forces as time and fate. Unlike the majority of my type, I've come to accept my situation, reluctantly and gloomily. If I could make just one wish come true, I would pray that this world would rid itself of all the unjust and painful prejudices and hate directed at the various minorities in society. If the world functioned with all of its inhabitants as equals, I would never find the motivation to sit down and write this because I wouldn't have to live like an outcast. Only 1 in 100 people could relate to me. They could stand up to society's harsh rules. However, I couldn't live with myself if I chose to belong to that group. If only I could live my life in someone else's body. If only I were normal. The next day at Madison High School, a student named Max Stradler roamed around the third floor while the rest of the students were walking to their classes as usual. He froze in one spot, in the exact middle of the hallway. He started to vibrate, and his teeth commenced to click in a fast, repetitive motion. He was beginning to sweat all over his body. His face seemed to build a glass shield from the perspiration. One teacher, at the end of the hall, formed a confused and concerned face and started to walk toward the desperate soul. Then, Max began his task. Shaking like a patient stricken with Parkinson's disease, he unleashed a gun from his jacket pocket. Everyone around him suddenly stared at him for a split second, then screamed and ran in all directions. While pandemonium exploded on the third floor, he put the gun to his head and pulled the trigger. 1 second later, after the sonic blast, the solitary figure fell to the ground. The teacher immediately ran towards him and snatched the gun. In a flash, the bomb explosion turned into a black hole as everyone crowded the deceased. Kelly was there, and so was Jason. They embraced each other and let out their emotions. The next day, the dean of students called a list of names, including Kelly Mason and Jason Thompson, on the loudspeaker. When the two reached Mr. Dunbar's office, he excused all the others to talk to them privately. Before he said a word, he pulled out a paper he had acquired the night before. The paper started with the words, "Dear Diary." When they left his office a half hour later, they wore extremely perplexed, confused, and startled faces. They still couldn't believe the condition and situation of the late Max Stradler. Whether their lives and minds will dramatically transform, the future will tell. Anonymous. This was the kind of anguish and torment that I suffered in silence when I wrote this story. I saw it published in the school paper a few weeks later, and I was mortified, because I knew that I was the one who wrote it. But I also felt a little hopeless, because no one else knew who the author was. Eventually, I had reached an internal tipping point, and I couldn't afford to continue the struggle without risking serious damage to my well-being, so I came out to my high school counselor on February 2nd, 1994. I said that I was gay, but the words were unintelligible, as they came crashing out like a river blasting through a dam. He was very compassionate and helpful, which I appreciated tremendously. It took 40 minutes to come out to my junior prom date the next day, and she cared less that I liked guys. I came out to a new person every day that week, and I started to feel my old self come back again, along with a certain kind of freedom that I never knew was possible. Weeks later, I was introduced to another gay student at my school, and he helped me understand that I wasn't alone, which gave me hope. Then a week or two later, before I graduated, I was at another friend's house, and when I stepped into her bedroom, I saw my short story, Mutant Energy, neatly pinned to her wall in front of her desk with thumbtacks on all four corners. I was shocked to see it, and when I told her that I was the one who wrote the story, which was my way of coming out to her, she walked up to me and gave me a hug. 17 years have passed since I wrote this story, and I am so thankful that I have gotten to live each of those years. I never thought that when I started feeling this mutant energy that I would someday have a good job, have a wonderful relationship with a boyfriend, travel around the country, play in a rugby team, play on an ice hockey team, sing with a beautiful chorus, develop a videography hobby, release an original music album on iTunes, and best of all, fight to be an equal and free LGBT American. Had I followed through with my short story and taken my own life in high school, I never would have been able to celebrate the beautiful and triumphant nature of this universal energy. Because I chose to live, I get to cherish every day that comes. If you're watching this video and you've thought about taking your life because you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, or just different, don't give up, because I can tell you, it gets better.